she is just an average office worker, who is bullied by coworkers, due to being a virgin single at 27. He is a super popular ladies man, who makes James Bond run for his money, a legendary player, who has seduced countless women, so just his photo can turn girls into devoted simps, and if it is not enough, then being whatever the target wants. Even ready to talk nerdy to them, of course, all that to get sweet intel for the mission's sake, but their worlds changed by meeting each other, and after a passionately explosive evening, they married, and then they lived happily ever after.
Like that's ever gonna happen.
In many stories, starting relationships is the end point. So many authors are slower than snails at making characters reach that point, but in reality, it is only the beginning. Just because two people are deeply attached to each other, does not mean that their baggage disappears, because although there are things you can keep under wraps or endure from your partner, it is only for a while. At some point, the truth comes out. For example, by snapping out from being in love, high on all those drug-like chemicals flooding brain, and turns out that the sexy girl is in reality a monkey. Yep, Mother Nature is a very sneaky drug dealer, who creates this monkey business. That is why love is like a plant, that must be regularly taken care of, even after it blooms, otherwise over time it can wilt. Sadly, only relatively few stories explore this, like Horimiya and partners sharing their kinks.
Oh, I'm begging you! One small flap.
I've never been more lost in the maze that is your mind.
In Spy Family's case, Yor's low self-esteem persistently makes her imagination go wild and create negative scenarios. As a result, negatively distorted reality stresses her out, like you're feeling so down, because she thinks that Loid wishes to dump her, and we as all-knowing watchers might think that it is so silly, because Yor is such a goddess, that there is a whole fandom simping for her, and ready to sub and like, to get more content about her. Even my grandma simps for Yor. The goddess of the night is so great as Anya's mom and Loid's partner, but, sadly, in reality, the human mind often decides with feelings, and then justifies the felt with logic, such as people seeing a glass as half full or half empty. That is why it is important to communicate with people you trust about your problems to see additional perspectives. Even if you are like Yor and consider yourself a failure, you might be blind to what a wonderful person you are. So by keeping all to yourself, you are making things more difficult than they should be. Luckily for Yor, Loid is a Chad we all need sometimes in our lives, cheering us up when it gets tough. Just proves that Becky is a true girl of culture. By recognizing his appeal so fast, Loid is an observant, supportive and patient partner, who like a true detective has repeatedly noticed Yor being down, and each time reassured her, such as seeing that after Fiona's visits, Yor has become very sad. Loid comforted, calmed down Yor, by telling the truth, that Fiona is just a colleague, even went his way out to do it in a more comfortable environment, so they can more freely talk it out. Sadly, not everybody can be such a genius like Twilight, and if necessary, then interrogators like Yuri. So the next best thing is to take an initiative and prime people to be more open, like that time Loid encouraged Yor to be more straightforward about parenting.
Oh yeah!
That is the stuff I love, when they get dirty like that, on a mental level, discovering a partner's weak points, and then helping to overcome them, is the sexiest thing there is. I love that this anime shows character development more realistically, that just knowing or having one light bulb moment is not enough to change deeply rooted beliefs about yourself. In reality, it takes a few weeks of daily exercises to start to see the progress, and from a few months to 2 years to fully change the belief. We can see how slowly Yor has changed, such as she went from lying to herself, that she is doing this only to keep her job, to finally acknowledging to herself that the Forger family is the place she belongs. Also, you're being confronted by the situation where her must leave Loid. She wishes to do the right thing by prioritizing Loid's happiness over her own. Nevertheless, initially she cannot force herself to say it, because you're has too attached to Loid. Still, she pushes herself for Loid's sake. This shows that you're truly loves Loid, because if it was a fake love, another monkey business, like being in love, then you would try to keep Loid no matter what, and Loid too is very attached to you. That is why he could truly open up and share a dear childhood memory, even say how much you reminds his beloved mom. There is even research showing that we are looking for a partner with qualities our opposite gender parent had, so it is the Oedipus effect, with extra steps, just proves that Mother Nature is one persistent trickster. The manga author is a really great writer, but even he can make mistakes, like blowing it up so hard in the last stretch of the chapter. I hate that you forgot what happened that evening, because it devalues put in emotional investment. You're acknowledging that the Forger family is her place, and Loid opening up and admitting why he treasures so much your felt so earned and heartwarmingly wholesome, and then to take it away felt so heartless. I really hate artificial will they, won't they? But in this case, I totally see why you're kicked Loid, who tried to confess. The key lies in the difference in experience. Due to inexperience, Yor is very shy, easily overwhelmed, while Twilight is a total pro, being in a lot of relationships, for the mission's sake. Just remember Karen, for Twilight to make a woman fall madly in love with him, is just an average Monday, and the difference also shows in power imbalance, such as Loid usually initiating the interactions. Still, Yor slowly develops, by showing glimpses of the initiative, like that time she helped Loid to understand a better way to motivate Anya to study, or secretly learnt how to cook better. We can see how much Yor's devotion to the family grows, and I mean not only ready to kill for them, which for her is just a normal workout. I am talking about the really hard stuff, like being more straightforward in her private life, if not borderline impossible, such as cooking a decent dish. We might not be worthy from the get-go, but if we wish, then with the right partner we can become one. That is the beauty of relationships. Help you got a dose of wholesomeness, and if you wish more content about Yor and Loid as a couple, then enjoy this.